Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into a critical topic, the key threats facing wildlife around the globe. From the lush rainforests to the icy polar regions, animals face unprecedented challenges to their survival. From habitat loss to human-wildlife conflict, these challenges are putting immense pressure on our planet's biodiversity. The delicate balance of life on Earth is under threat, and the consequences are far-reaching. Over the next few minutes, we will journey across continents, exploring the 7 key threats to wildlife and understanding their devastating impact on our planet's rich tapestry of life. Imagine a world where forests shrink, grasslands disappear, and wetlands vanish. This is the reality facing countless species today as habitat loss tightens its grip on our planet. Deforestation, driven by the demand for timber and land for agriculture, carves vast swaths through the world's forests. Once teeming with life, these areas are often transformed into barren landscapes, leaving countless creatures homeless and vulnerable. Urbanization, too, plays a significant role. Sprawling cities encroach upon natural habitats, fragmenting populations and pushing wildlife into ever smaller pockets of wilderness. Agricultural expansion further compounds the problem. As we clear land to grow crops and raise livestock, we destroy vital habitats that support a diverse array of species. The World Wildlife Fund estimates that over 1 million species are at risk of extinction, primarily due to habitat destruction. As habitats vanish, competition for resources intensifies. Animals are forced into closer proximity with one another, increasing the risk of disease transmission and conflict. The time to act is now. We must find ways to develop sustainably, preserving natural habitats and ensuring a future for all life on Earth. Our planet is changing at an unprecedented rate. The Earth's climate, once stable and predictable, is now in a state of flux, and the consequences for wildlife are profound. Rising temperatures, driven by the increasing concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, are pushing many species beyond their limits. Animals adapted to specific temperature ranges are finding it increasingly difficult to survive as their environments warm. Changing precipitation patterns are disrupting delicate ecological balances. Some regions are experiencing more frequent and intense droughts, while others are inundated with floods. The melting of glaciers and polar ice caps is causing sea levels to rise, threatening coastal habitats and the species that depend on them. Marine ecosystems are also feeling the heat. As ocean temperatures rise, coral reefs, often referred to as the rainforests of the sea due to their incredible biodiversity, are experiencing widespread bleaching events. Ocean acidification, caused by the absorption of excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, poses another significant threat to marine life. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, warns that many species could face extinction by 2100 if current trends continue. We must act now to protect our planet's biodiversity from the escalating threats of a changing climate. Pollution, a pervasive and insidious threat, has woven its way into every corner of our planet. From the highest mountain peaks to the deepest ocean trenches, the toxic legacy of human activity is taking a heavy toll on wildlife. Chemicals released into the environment through industrial processes, agricultural practices, and everyday human activities contaminate air, water, and soil, poisoning the very lifeblood of our planet. These toxins accumulate in the food chain, reaching dangerous levels in top predators. Plastics, ubiquitous and persistent, choke our oceans and waterways, entangling marine life and leaching harmful chemicals into the surrounding environment. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a swirling vortex of plastic debris twice the size of Texas, stands as a stark reminder of our addiction to single-use plastics. Noise pollution, often overlooked, disrupts the delicate acoustic world of many species. Marine mammals, reliant on sound for communication and navigation, are particularly vulnerable to the din of ship traffic, sonar, and underwater explosions. Light pollution, another pervasive form of sensory overload, disorients nocturnal animals and disrupts their natural rhythms. Sea turtles, for example, rely on the moon's reflection to guide them to the ocean after hatching, but artificial lights often lead them astray. The United Nations estimates that around 1 million marine creatures die each year due to plastic pollution. We have a responsibility to address the root causes of pollution and transition to cleaner, more sustainable practices. Chapter 4. The Price of Greed, the devastating impact of overexploitation. Throughout history, humans have relied on nature for sustenance and resources. Our relationship with nature has become increasingly exploitative, driven by greed and short-sightedness. Overexploitation is pushing countless species towards extinction. The illegal wildlife trade thrives on demand for luxury goods and traditional medicines. Elephants are poached for their ivory, leaving a trail of carnage. Rhinos face a similar plight, hunted for their horns. Sharks are targeted for their fins, essential to shark fin soup. We must break the cycle of exploitation and transition to sustainability. Chapter 5. Silent invaders. The disruptive impact of invasive species. Invasive species, often introduced accidentally through human activities, pose a significant threat to native wildlife and ecosystems. These invaders can outcompete native species, disrupt ecological balances, and alter habitats. Picture a rat stowing away on a ship or a plant seed carried on the wind. They multiply rapidly, unchecked by natural controls. Outcompeting native species for resources, they push them towards extinction. The brown tree snake in Guam has devastated native bird populations. Protecting biodiversity requires addressing the threat of invasive species. Chapter 6. Silent killers, the unseen threat of disease. In the intricate tapestry of life, disease plays a complex and often devastating role. While an integral part of natural ecosystems, diseases can become amplified and spread rapidly, particularly when exacerbated by human activities and environmental changes. Wildlife diseases caused by a variety of pathogens, including viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites, can have devastating impacts on animal populations. These diseases can spread through direct contact between animals, through contaminated water or soil, or through vectors such as insects. Habitat destruction and fragmentation force animals into closer proximity, increasing the likelihood of disease transmission. As animals are displaced from their natural homes, they may come into contact with other species they wouldn't normally encounter, increasing the risk of cross-species disease transmission. Climate change is also playing a role in the emergence and spread of wildlife diseases. As temperatures rise, the geographic ranges of disease vectors, such as mosquitoes and ticks, are expanding, bringing them into contact with new host species. Monitoring and managing wildlife health is crucial to preventing and controlling disease outbreaks. This involves tracking disease prevalence, identifying risk factors, and implementing mitigation strategies, such as vaccination and habitat management. Protecting wildlife from the threat of disease is essential for maintaining biodiversity, preserving ecosystem function, and safeguarding human health. Chapter 7. A Clash of Worlds. Navigating human-wildlife conflict. As human populations expand and encroach upon wild spaces, the potential for conflict with wildlife increases. This clash of worlds, driven by competition for space, resources, and fear, often has tragic consequences for both humans and animals. Human-wildlife conflict, a complex and multifaceted issue, arises when the presence or behavior of wildlife poses a direct threat to human interests, such as livelihoods, safety, or property. These conflicts can manifest in various ways, from crop raiding and livestock depredation to property damage and even human injury or death. Habitat loss and fragmentation, driven by human development, force animals into closer proximity with humans as they seek food, water, and shelter. This increased interaction can lead to conflict, particularly when animals are perceived as a threat to human safety or livelihood. Climate change, by altering weather patterns and resource availability, can exacerbate human-wildlife conflict. Droughts, for example, can force animals to venture further afield in search of water, increasing the likelihood of encounters with humans. Finding sustainable solutions to human-wildlife conflict requires a multifaceted approach that addresses both the immediate needs of local communities and the long-term conservation of wildlife populations. Community-based conservation initiatives, which empower local communities to manage and benefit from wildlife resources, can play a crucial role in mitigating conflict. By fostering coexistence, we can create a future where both humans and wildlife can thrive. The threats facing wildlife today are complex and interconnected, requiring urgent action and collaboration across various sectors. From habitat loss and climate change to pollution and overexploitation, the challenges are daunting, but not insurmountable. By raising awareness and advocating for conservation efforts, we can help protect our planet's incredible biodiversity for future generations. Supporting organizations dedicated to wildlife conservation, making conscious consumer choices, and advocating for policies that protect our planet are just a few ways we can make a difference. Stay tuned for our next discussion on successful wildlife conservation initiatives and how we can get involved. Together, we can make a difference for wildlife and their habitats.